This may be an absolute disaster, or it may be incredible. Hello, and here we go with another sewing project. My last sewing project was this amazing outfit, which came out so great. Something I had as a vision to make instantly when I saw the fabric choice. It was quite a long process. It kind of happened over quite a lot of weeks, which wasn't the intention, but things happen, life happens, and it took a long time. Also, the video was a bit rushed. It wasn't filmed great. My audio has still been an issue with videos, etc. But I'm working on that, and we're moving forward, and we're learning, and we're progressing. And that was the theme of this year for me: progression and improvement. And that's what we're aiming for. That being said, I'm going to be doing the absolute opposite of that project. The puzzle dress was the most I've ever spent on fabric. So to break it down, I needed 4 meters of each of the colors, and it was £10 a meter for each. So I'd spent £40 on fabric. The sewing pattern was about £11, I think. And then all I needed to buy along with that was an invisible zip, which was a couple of pounds. So all in all, for me, that's quite an expensive outfit. I don't spend a lot of money on what I wear. So this time round, because it took me a long time, I wanted to do something completely different, a cheap and quick project. So I've set myself the challenge today. I'm already behind schedule, FYI. I am an hour behind where I wanted to be already because I've been doing a lot of faffing around this morning. I am attempting to make a dress really, really cheap and really, really quick. Also, I'm going to try and stop saying really, really. It's a recurring theme in every single video whenever I edit them and watch them back. I cannot believe how many times I say really, really. So, where are we? Mood patterns. Been recommended these quite a few times from people when I ask about recommendations for patterns or talking to other people about sewing projects. Yeah, moodfabrics.com, and they have loads of free sewing patterns on their website. I've never done one before. I wanted to keep this as low cost as option. Like I said, it's going to be cheap and quick. This is the idea. I looked on their website, looked through all of their sewing patterns, and this one specifically, I kind of thought, yes, that's my sort of style of dress that I like, and it looks like it's quite a simple construction, hopefully. It's the Mal dress, M-A-L dress. So for the pattern, you just download it, easy peasy, pop in your email address, and then it emails the pattern straight to you. It doesn't email the instructions to you as well. So for the instructions, you actually have to go back onto the website, and then you have to read the instructions out from there. I would have liked to have the instructions also on the email as well, so I know exactly where it is and I don't have to keep going back and finding it. Full disclosure with this process, you know, this is a cheap project, but obviously I have all the equipment to be able to complete that. You do need a printer to print this out. Sewing machine is an investment that you'll have. I do have an overlocker. You know, in terms of what you need to complete them, that isn't cheap, but the concept of this is the pattern is free, the material is cheap. So I have printed this all out already. I just need to cut out the size. So I did prep that part, but nothing else is going to be prepped. And I'm giving myself a very, very tight deadline to do this. I'm attempting to see if I can do this before I pick the children up from school in a day. Usually with my sewing projects, I do them over a couple of weekends. I'll do some bits in the evening. I will do, you know, like a whole day on a Friday. But today I am attempting to try and do this all in one Friday and have a finished thing at the end, which is quite scary, but I need to get a move on. Okay, so fabric for this, I'm a lover of a bedsheet make. The very, very first item of clothing that I ever made was made from a bedsheet, and it is, I'll find a picture of it and put it up here, was a Super Mario bed cover that was really, really awful. It was really cheap and gross, and I didn't want my son sleeping in it because it was horrible fabric. So I made a top and it actually came out pretty good. It was really good. I can't remember what the pattern was. I don't know where I got it from. It would have been a free, cheap something pattern. It was a great way to start. I have progressed a bit more from that, but I do still really, really appreciate a good quality bargain bed cover. I got this as an absolute bargain. It's a double bed sheet and it was £5. £5 for a double. So there's loads of material in here. I love the lilac colour. Lilac is one of my favourite colours to wear. So far, the pattern is free. The fabric is £5. There's no bits and bobs to add to this. I think all you need is a little bit of elastic. That is the plan. So I'm now going to do a small amount of working out for fitting, having a little look at the sizing based on the finished garment measurement. It says that it's supposed to be quite a loose fit dress. I don't want it too loose because I don't want to look like a bag of potatoes, if you know what I mean. I want it to be reasonably sort of fitting. I may adapt the sleeves. I don't know if the sleeves are big enough and poofy enough for me, so I might be adding in sleeve headers, my new obsession. I might put some sleeve headers in, so that'll be a little extra. And I'm potentially thinking about elasticating one of the seams before the, like where the bodice joins the top tier. I think I may put some elastic around there to give it a little bit more shape, because there's no zips, there's no fastenings to get in and out. It's kind of a throw over because the neck hole's large. You can get it over and it would sit. That's another thing also as well. On the pattern, it's got a facing for the neck. I think I might, because of this fabric, I might do a lining instead. So I may just use the outside bodice pattern, copy it, and then do it as an internal lining inside instead of a facing. I like that technique a bit more. It will make it more sturdy on the top bodice in case it's sort of, because it is a bed sheet, it's not as premium quality as you would get if you were buying like a cotton fabric, like a linen or something like that was a really good quality. So it's not completely transparent and see-through, but it's not as thick as like a really nice quality garment. So I'm going to double it, which I think is why the bodice lining will work much better. It won't matter so much with the tiers. I think I might up the length of them so that they're more ruffly. I love ruffliness a little bit more. And from the imagery of the sewing pattern, it looks like it's not super ruffly. So I might elongate the tiers to ruffle them up a little bit more so that they look a bit more like that. Maybe only the second tier. I don't know yet. We'll see how much fabric we've got from this, because I'm not sure if I've got mega amounts. I need to stop waffling and I need to get going. I'm going to do some quick measuring. I'm going to cut out the sewing pattern and then we can start cutting and get going, because I need to overlock everything as well and then try and quickly whack it all together. This may be an absolute disaster or it may be incredible. We'll see. All the paper pieces are cut out now, and I've just done a little bit of measuring just to check on the fit of things. So pieces that I will have: front bodice piece, which is great. Now the seam allowance is included in this, so to work out what the measurements are to see how this is going to fit all the way around, I have measured from the center front to the side, but I've taken off a centimetre, which is the seam allowance part, so that I can then times that measurement by 2 to give me then the full measurement of all the way around the front. Back bodice piece, I've done exactly the same, and then I've added those two together. That came to 106 centimetres, which across the highest point of my bust is still nice and okay. I just did sort of like a little eye check on where it's going to come to in terms of where the bodice stops, and it's underneath my bust, so I'm happy with where that finishes as well. So I think all the bodice is going to be absolutely fine. You've got a pocket So cut 4 mirrored pairs on the pocket. This is the front back cut on fold top tier. So that's going to come in from here and be the top tier of the dress. This sleeve's a bit strange. This is a sleeve, but it obviously maybe is half a sleeve. Cut 4 mirrored pairs. I don't get it, really. I don't get why you can't just cut it as one whole piece on a fold and then you've got one sleeve. I might cut these on the fold so that it's just 2 sleeve pieces. And then this is the bottom tier. Now, based on the size, I should have cut it from here, but it does mention about if you want it to be more ruffled on the bottom tier to make it bigger. So I've cut it extra long and I will make it extra ruffly then on the bottom. Ha ha ha, because we want to. Because we want to. Because we want to. So now, fabric cutting time. Woo! Everything's cut out and ready. I had enough. Is really good. Okay, 11:30. We have so far been an hour and a half. So it's been an hour and a half to get pattern cut out, the fabric cut out. I'm going to do the interfacing for the neckline and then I can start doing all the edge finishing. I'm going to concentrate on trying to get in the neck nice and finished. We're going to have some understitching in there, absolutely. I'm doing this without actually reading the pattern because I can't be bothered to find it, and my phone is obviously doing the filming, so I can't be bothered to go on there or find another option. And I'm pretty sure after doing quite a few dresses that are similar, I should be able to just do this myself and it not be too complicated. I would recommend using the instructions though, rather than trying to follow my method. These are the pieces that were for facings, and I'm going to use these just for the interfacing. So I am going to cut out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them on the fold. It doesn't say to do that here, but on this part here, I'm going to cut the interfacing on the fold. So then the interfacing will be all one piece to interface that part to be the neckline, because that's where you don't want there to be any stretching or distorting of fabric. Yes, I'm going to cut on the fold here and cut on the fold here for these interfacing pieces. Now I'm joining the shoulders and the side seams of the bodice and the lining together. Then I sew those parts up so that I've got 2 bodice pieces as such. Then I place the lining inside right side facing, and then I sew all the way around the neckline. There are pivot points there as well in the corners. So after they've been sewn, you cut straight into them, but not through the stitching, so that when you turn it all the way around the right side, it's really, really nice and crisp on the corners. I did understitch all on the inside so that it really just holds that lining part down. So the seam allowances are sewn to the lining. And I did leave a gap in the little corners just because I couldn't quite finish and get that all worked out. And now afterwards, it was absolutely beautiful. I couldn't resist a little try on. So obviously this is, as it states, it is a relaxed fit dress. So this part of this neckline allows you to not need any fastening, so you can put it straight over your head, which is good. I'm really glad I've added this rickrack. Yes, like it so ties in with this little lilac part. Fabulous. Now, I am thinking though, I do think I will want the elastic part in here, because I just will want it to give a little bit more shape, because I am, as we know, quite straight. I don't really have a nice like shapey shape, so we can pretend and mimic that, which is fine. But in terms of adding the shoulders on, that's going to be fine, because obviously that's going to come in terms of how they'll sit, which is good, not too shabby. Yeah, I am pleased so far. So we shall continue. Where are we at? I've had a lunch break, 10 minutes, and now we are at 1:10. I have got until 3 o'clock, so not too long to try and do the pockets, do the other tiers, do the sleeves. Oh dearie me. Right, let's get on. Right, one sleeve is on. One magical mega sleeve. And it's good. It's good. Now, I definitely want to add in the magical sleeve headers that I have become obsessed with since making this dress. So this has the sleeve headers in here underneath, like the rugby ball shaped part that kind of goes inside. And it makes such a difference with how they stand up when you wear the dress. And I think they have to go in here too. Okay, it's done. And I'm not sure. I don't know. This is annoying me. Like this, I really need to add this elastic in like I thought I wanted. I have really started to understand and believe massively how much proper fitting clothes makes a huge difference. Based on the fact of how far these shoulder seams come out, they are completely sitting in the wrong place on me. I feel like if it just came into here and sat here, it would be a much better shape. I kind of got a bit cocky and thought, it's okay, I've got better at working out measurements now. Just doing measurements is still not enough, I feel. Obviously, zero pattern matching in here, which it doesn't annoy me enough that I'm that bothered. I did it on the bodice, to be fair. Look at that. You can see the difference of matching the lines up. Really, it's worth the time. Bummer. I'll come back to it tomorrow, I think. It's usually best, isn't it, when you feel like this? Thank you. Good evening and good night. Definitely so much better with this elastic added. The shape is a lot nicer. I have zigzag stitched it to the seam allowance only of where the join of everything is, because otherwise you're going to run a line of visible stitching if you try and add it anywhere else. So just make sure if you're going to do that option, you add it onto the seam allowance part of the inside. I would recommend, if you're doing this lining option, which I did, which isn't part of the pattern as you know, but if you do the bodice lining part the same as the way that I have, I would recommend attaching your lining first and then adding on the elastic, because I haven't done that part. So the bottom of my lining is actually loose inside here, which is okay. I could change it and add that in now, but I can't be bothered. I really don't know if I can be bothered to look at maybe slightly adjusting the sleeve, like the armhole. I feel like that's all it needs. Like if I literally just take the seam up ever so slightly here and then attach the sleeve and just alter the armhole ever so slightly, I feel like that would make a world of difference, like a massive, massive difference with just, yeah, look, the difference of it going out to here where it naturally wants to sit to then going up here to where it doesn't want to sit, just hugely narrows the top part of me, which is what I need, because I don't want that to look wider than it is. I don't know whether I will necessarily actually style it like this. I kind of just put it on to try. Likely this will be a dress that will be worn with like Birkenstock style sandals, which I live in the summer. Yeah, cool. For a free pattern and a £5 bed cover, I think this is pretty darn good. So if you really want to make your own clothes, but you don't have the means to be able to buy expensive patterns, buy expensive fabric, as much as it would be lovely to do that. And I look at things sometimes and think, wow, I would love to, especially in the earlier days of sewing as well. The risk element of spending out lots of money on expensive patterns and fabrics is really scary, especially when you don't like how they come out at the end or what you've made. They're great for experimenting and learning and practicing and building up your skills. I think the 4 years of my skills in garment making have made a difference to the finished outcome of this, but I don't think that should put people off doing this if they're very, very new to sewing. I still think it's well worth doing for the ease and the simplicity and the really cute outcome at the end as well. Hurrah! Yay! That wasn't too bad. It was only slightly longer than I wanted it to be in terms of finishing. I did finish the rest of this up in an evening. It probably was maybe the equivalent of like another hour, hour and a half, which if I'd have started earlier in the day, I think I probably could have got there in the time frame that I wanted to. But anyway, it was a good test. It was a good challenge and wasn't a complete disaster. And that's all that matters. I'm on to making this next. I am sewing this and making this for somebody else. This is my first time of doing a sewing pattern and making something for somebody else's size, which is going to be interesting. So this may take me a little while to film, so I might be a couple of weeks potentially with getting all of this together. I've made one before and it's really beautiful. It's such an amazing pattern. It's really, really such a beautiful dress everybody loves. And I'm very excited to get on with doing this for somebody for a very, very special occasion also. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon.